It is a time of reviewing, reassessing, realigning, slowing down, being very thoughtful and intentional with what you're working on. Because what happens during a retrograde is if you are reviewing, reassessing, and realigning something in your life that you've been thinking about, dreaming about, wanting to do, you will get massive rewards afterwards. Welcome to the Story of Spirit podcast, where practical spirituality meets real life. Hi, I'm your host, She Tells Story. I'm a psychic medium, grief support counselor, professional astrologer, and a human design reader, and of course, a law of attraction master coach. With my unique blend of spiritual and practical tools, I am here to help you align with your soul-led purpose and ignite a life that sets your soul on fire. In this podcast, we are going to explore the principles of energy, astrology, spirituality, and psychology to help you heal your grief and create an aligned life and business from the inside out. Whether you are looking to deepen your intuition, understand your cosmic design, or transform your business, this podcast is for you. Join me each week for insightful discussions, practical tips, and inspiring stories that will guide you on your journey to living your very best life. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at She Tells Story or wherever you listen to this podcast. Let's dive in and start this transformative journey together. Welcome to the Story of Spirit podcast. Welcome to the Astro forecast for the week of July 14th through to the 20th. This is a very unique week. There is actually one major aspect this week, and it's Mercury retrograde. There is no other major aspects, but there are moon aspects. So that's what we're going to talk about mostly this week. So we start out the week on Monday, July 14th, in a third quarter phase of the moon in Pisces. This is a very sensitive, nurturing, watery moon. It is a great one for creativity, for expression, for music, for relaxing. It diffuses energy. It's not a moon where we want to feel. We want to do things that we don't want to do anything really. It's the moon in Pisces is very feeling, right? It's the most watery of all the moons. And third quarter phase means it's losing light. So it's a time now where we've just come past the full moon in Capricorn on Thursday. And now we are sort of taking stock of what is, basking in the glow of all our hard work. So it's a great week to take a vacation, is what I'm going to say. A really great week to slow down and be intentional. We are already in retrograde with Mercury, meaning we are already going over the degrees that Mercury is going to go over again. So anything that you do now, you're going to be reviewing, reassessing, realigning with it. So best to take a break. Really great time to take a break. So as we navigate into the week, we are going to come up on Wednesday. And Wednesday, the moon moves into Aries. Now, an Aries moon is fiery. It wants to start things. It wants to initiate. It has a lot of get up and go. And so motivation, but it's not motivation that goes towards your agenda. This is a motivation that goes towards that spark, the thing that is exciting you, igniting you. It makes you feel like, yes, I want to get up and go and do this thing. So it's a great day to start something new. Not really because Mercury is about to go retrograde, but you can because you're just going to revise it and learn as you go through it. And the aspects to the moon today is going to have you feel like you can do anything. There's a square to Jupiter. So this can be taking on too many things, saying yes when you should be saying, I'll get back to you. Not a great time to be, taking lots of invitations at this moment in time. You might want to and feel like you can take on the world. And I'm going to say by the end of the week, that's going to change. So be very discerning with your yeses and your energy, especially on Wednesday. And then as we move into Thursday, we are in a third quarter phase of the moon in Aries, and we have a moon square to the sun later in the day. So this is more of like a taking stock of what is. This is where we're really trying to get rid of anything that is no longer serving. Now we're going to start to feel that energy of release really picking up. And then we come into Friday. July 18th. And the moon moves into Taurus early in the morning, and then Mercury goes retrograde actually right after midnight Eastern Standard Time. So, Mercury retrograde in Leo. This is an interesting one. I find Mercury is my ruling planet as a Virgo. And if you're a Gemini, Mercury is also your ruling planet as well. If you have Sun, Moon, Rising in Virgo or Gemini, or stellium, meaning three or more planets in Gemini or Virgo, you feel retrograde, Mercury retrograde very, very, very much. I have a number of points in my chart, including my Mercury, my midheaven, and my Sun in Virgo. And so it is when my ruling planet goes retrograde, I feel it in my life. And if you're born with Mercury retrograde in your chart, this will feel like a homecoming to you. You're like, oh yay, everybody finally gets what I live with, right? This is great. And for someone who does not have Mercury retrograde, it is a very trying time for me because I have to slow down. I have to be really intentional with how I am moving through the world, driving my car, taking steps down the stairs. I can't hit a garbage can to save my life. Like, it's really, my coordination is so off because Mercury rules coordination. And I find that I'm just delayed everywhere I go, right? So I already have a very interesting relationship with time. And so here, Mercury is just like, Chantel, how's your relationship with time? And I'm like, no, great. So another opportunity to reform a relationship with time. And everything is always on time. I've really relaxed. Great time over the summer to relax. But now Mercury is going retrograde in Leo. Leo is a fire sign. It's a fixed fire sign. It wants what it wants. The heart wants what it wants. Leo rules the heart. And so this energy, Leo can be very frustrated. It's almost like it wants to go, but it's not going anywhere because it's not getting to move forward. And if you are a Leo, you might notice this, depending on what degrees of Leo you are, but it is going to affect Leo as well because that energy of Leo is going to feel this slowdown. Now, Mercury rules the mind, our thought processing, communication, coordination, community, the way we connect with the people around us, intellectually. And this energy now, when it goes retrograde, meaning it's going slower, Mercury is going slower than the Earth because it speeds up and slows down in its trajectory around the sun, and it's going slower than the Earth now. So at this point in time, it just is going slower than the Earth. We call this stationary retrograde. It is a time of reviewing, reassessing, realigning, slowing down, being very thoughtful and intentional with what you're working on. Because what happens during a retrograde is, if you are reviewing, reassessing, and realigning something in your life that you've been thinking about, dreaming about, wanting to do, you will get massive rewards afterwards. So, this is how, when I talk about riding the cycles, especially in my social media posts and stuff, this is what I mean, because this is where you could get so much rewards out of, especially if you're thinking about something, writing something, create a project, about to launch a course, if you're an entrepreneur, if you are somebody who's putting a project out into the world, if you're in project management, a professional, everyone. This affects everyone. This is like gravity. It affects you whether you know it or not. So why not use this so intentionally? So we are going to look at the dates now, and this is how you ride out these cycles, because it's going to help you understand what you've been thinking about. So I'm going to give you these dates. Probably a good idea to write them down so you can see in your calendar what you were thinking about, what you were dreaming about, what you were working on. So you can use these dates for yourself to understand the cycle that's playing out for you. So from June 30th to July 18th, you would have been working on stuff, doing stuff, thinking about stuff, dreaming about stuff, right? Writing. Great one to figure this out is go back through your emails, go back through your notes. What were you, if you journal, what were you journaling about? Then from July 18th, which is now, to August 11th, Mercury will retrograde over these same degrees again. So this is a time from July 18th to August 11th, not a good time to sign any documents, not a good time to say yes to any big commitments, not a good time to buy anything big. Leo likes to buy things that make it look really lovely. It likes to spend money on fun things. It's no problem, go for brunch, go on a trip, but do not buy a car. It's not a good time to buy a car. Obviously, if you're having to buy a car, and read the fine print, but it tends to not go well when we make big purchases over Mercury retrograde. It's like we don't have all the information. We just don't want to. I would never, as an astrologer, advise somebody to make a big purchase during a Mercury retrograde or sign a big contract. Again, sometimes things happen. If you can't delay it past, August 15th to 20th, even, then read the fine print, have lawyers look over it, have many eyes look over it so you're not missing anything. And then from August 11th to August 25th, you are now going to be redoing the same degrees that you did from June 30th to July 18th. And then you went through retrograde, reviewing, reassessing, relying those degrees from July 18th to August 11th. And now you're going to have a chance to reap the rewards of all your hard work, of anything that you redid during that time between August 11th and August 25th. So after the 25th, Mercury will be out of retrograde, and that is a free and clear time to do whatever it is you desire. We're going to be going into September with that kind of energy. Of course, there's still some outer planets that are retrograde, which is fine, but Mercury is one of our inner planets. They're considered a personal planet, so we really feel those personal planets when they go retrograde. So this is how you use this to for your highest and best. And as I looked up the degrees as well, this is going to be for early Leos. So if you are born for the first half of Leo ness in the zodiac, so if you are a Leo that is born between July 27th through to the August 8th, you will really feel this. Now, of course, other people in the zodiac are also going to feel this, because Aquarius, if you're sort of in the first half of Aquarius, you're also going to feel this. It's going to be opposite your sun. And then, of course, the rest of us, Virgos and stuff. I mean, Mercury just affects all of us because it's one of those personal planets that rules our communication, thought processing. So if you're used to go, 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 as I am as an entrepreneurial woman, it's not so nice to not go, go, go. It's not so nice to stub your toe, to have spelling mistakes go out, to miss big parts of documents that you thought you did. That's kind of some of the Mercury retrograde stuff. And everything is divinely perfect. So just pack extra patience. Another part of Mercury retrograde is delays in travel. So if you are traveling, print your documents. Don't try to just rely that it's going to be on your phone, because electronics can go crazy during Mercury retrograde. Communication is misunderstood. It's a time not to go deep into trying to fix relationships, unless, of course, you were born with Mercury retrograde. But it's a time to really just pack extra patience. All right. Because there can be delays in travel, traffic jams, and you're just waiting a long time in your car, or you're sitting on the tarmac in a plane. I swear, during a Mercury retrograde, I ended up reading my entire favorite book that I've ever read, which is The Alchemist. I went through the entire book during a Mercury retrograde because I was literally stuck on a plane for like 3 hours on the tarmac. So, you know what? You can make the most of it. So, it's a time to slow your roll. Mercury retrograde in Leo invites you to revise your creative voice, reflect on how you express yourself, and reconsider what deserves the spotlight. Creative editing, vocal healing, playful introspection. So really be aware that there can be ego clashes now, where people you think that you're perceiving that someone feels like they're more than you, or maybe they're acting like they are. But again, if you are healed, you can just let them be who they are. Right? It doesn't bother you. But if you have not healed, then that might hurt your heart, you might hurt your ego, and then you might want to go out for blood. And that's not going to be helpful during this time. So really be mindful of that. And then the moon moves into Taurus on the Saturday. That's a nice grounded moon to really feel very lazy. You want to just enjoy delicious food and be with people who make you feel lovely. And Sunday's looking pretty good as well. So enjoy the week, take it slow. It's an intentional summer, but something that I have tasked my MIA members with, who is in my membership for Manifestation, Intuition, and Astrology Academy, is joyful summer. How can you create more joy in your summer? Because when you are joyful, when you are happy, when you are just flowing with the energy, you become so magnetic for abundance. I'm telling you, it is a true way to manifest anything is to be joyful, to be happy. So, how can you create more joy even during a Mercury retrograde where you're just being in Leo? Like, you still can, Leo is a sign of like having fun, love, romance, creativity, self expression, children. Where can you just go be creative, your creative self, and really enjoy the summer? So, create your joyful summer with intentionality, slow down, notice what signs the universe is sending you, and go be. Just go be. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Story of Spirit podcast. I hope you have found inspiration, support, and practical insights to help you align with your soul-led purpose and live a life that sets your soul on fire. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and share it with a friend. Your support helps us to reach more listeners and continues to provide valuable content. I sincerely appreciate every share, and I know it is how most people find me. It is because caring people like you have shared me with them at the right and perfect time. For more resources, insights, and to connect with our community, please visit us at www.shetellstory.com and follow us on Instagram at shetellstory. Remember, your journey to a more aligned and vibrant life is just the beginning, and I am here to support you every step of the way. Until next time, stay aligned, stay inspired, and keep shining your beautiful light. This is Shetell Story, signing off from the Story of Spirit podcast. Here's the legalese it's required by our lawyers. This podcast and the YouTube channel represents the opinions of Shetell Story and her guests to the show. The content should not be taken as medical, psychological, or financial advice. This series is informational and entertainment purposes only. Because each person is so unique, please consult your healthcare professional, your mental health dream team, your financial advisor, or anyone else that's an expert in the field in where you are thinking of making big choices in your life.